You and me watched the game together earlier this week, and it was one of our favorite games of the year. OKC versus the Celtics. I don't know if this is a possible finals preview, but it was a great game. Obviously, it made me want to ask you, SGA or Tatum right now, who are you rolling with?
It's tough because they're like different players, I feel like.
Right.
But I mean, nonetheless, they're both scorers.
Let's talk about that game, though. SGA, they threw every defender the Celtics had on him.
Let me tell you something. That dude had a skillet out and cooked each and every single one of those guys. And listen, Derek White's a great defender. Drew Holiday's a great defender. Jaylen Brown's a good defender. I mean, he had some elite defense.
Yeah.
And he's just handing out pieces of candy to everybody. Everybody's getting some. You get some. And you use Oprah. You get some. And you get some. And you get some. Yeah. He's in terms of ISO basketball, he's the best in the NBA right now. I'd put him first and Luka second. In terms of best guards, I put him first right now, Luka second. I'm not saying he's better than Luka, because it's just hard for me to say any point guard is better than Luka.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if Luka's a point guard, because then what's Kyrie? And I don't know if Shai's a point guard, because then what's Giddey? But they both are point guard scorer. That's the beauty of today's basketball. It's just like, you have teams that have a point guard, then you just have teams that have guards. They just have guards. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the position is. So, like, Tatum's like a wing guard. It's, like, hard to compare. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'll probably go Tatum still. Shai's having a better year. Doesn't slight Tatum. Tatum's having a fantastic year as well. If you're asking me who's playing more dominant, like who's more valuable to their team right now in terms of the load on his shoulders every night, Shai.
Yeah.
And he's handling it better. I mean, he's hooping, bro. He's third in MVP voting, not Tatum. So if you're asking me tomorrow, I'd go with Shai. But, like, it's hard for me to put him over Tatum in the general sense, because
we've seen Tatum score, 40 in the playoffs.
Man.
We just need to see.
I've seen Tatum do it, bro.
And not that Shai's not capable. He obviously is, but we just want to see him do it in the playoffs for us to really put him up there.
And we will. I have no doubt that Shai's not going to be in the. Shai was good.
I'm excited to see them in the playoffs.
Shai was good in the playoffs when he was barely scratching the surface in the NBA with the Clippers.
Yeah.
When they had that Will Heart and Hustle team versus the Warriors. Remember, they took it 5 games.
Right, and he was on the Thunder with the Chris Paul, Schroeder, Shai lineup.
Will was cooking.
Yeah.
And Shai was great with them too. It's so funny, man. I played against that team with Schroeder and Chris Paul and Shai, and, like, I remember guarding Shai, and, like, he was good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing what opportunity and confidence can do to a player. I just like remember guarding him, like cutting him off, and I'm like, he would score sometimes. And I remember being like, man, I can guard this dude.
Yeah.
And then his development year after year. I remember 2 years later guarding him in Denver, whole different scenario. I'm just guarding this guy. I'm like, gosh, damn, this guy's good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bumps you with that shoulder, plays with his own pace, can't speed him up, has a mid-range, makes his free throws, finishes at the basket, can finish with either hand, can go to the basket either hand, prefers left. Everything mostly is going left. It's always awkward when a guy likes going the opposite way, considering his strong hand's a right. He's a shooter with his right hand, but he likes going left. He's 6'5", 6'6", slows down at the basket, gives you that shoulder to your chest and finishes. And now he's starting to hit the three off the dribble. He's putting it all together.
Yeah.
He's really talented. Right now, Shai's the best guard in the NBA. If you're asking me who I'd take over him, yeah, I'm still taking Luka and Tatum. If we're counting Tatum as a guard, not a wing, I'm still taking Tatum just because they have done it before. Everyone's always about the now. I'm huge about the now because that's what matters most, is about the now and not the past. But you cannot ignore the past, especially when we're talking about current. Every fucking year, Tatum is in the conference finals or the fucking finals, man. Him and Brown, willing their team there.
And Tatum taking I think he's scoring a couple less points a game this year. It's going to be obvious with the starting lineup they have. We're talking about the starting lineup.
They have the best team in basketball, man. So, like, Tatum's numbers aren't going to be the same as, like, a Luka or a Shai.
Right.
He has Jaylen Brown next to him, hoisting that bitch up every time he touches it. He has Drew Holiday, who's not averaging as much as he used to, but is still a scoring guard. Derek White's averaging 17. Porzingis is averaging near a dub or maybe a dub. You got multiple guys out there that can have 20 pieces.
Yeah.
So for the greater of the group, he probably averages 4 or 5 points less. You put fucking Tatum on, like, any other team.
Well, let's say they switch places.
Yeah, Tatum's averaging 30.
Yeah.
Tatum would average 32. He'd average the same thing that he's averaging, the same numbers that Shai's averaging, Tatum would average.
Yeah.
So, and listen, I know Shai has a good team too, but they're not the Celtics.
All right, so let me ask you then another question for you. Are the Thunder legit title contenders?
Not this year, but they're really good, and they'd make.
Yeah, I think they are.
They'd make for a really interesting playoffs.
Have you seen the teams they've beat this year too in the regular season?
In a 7-game series, if you're asking me, can they make it interesting in the playoffs and really push somebody like a really young, talented team does? Like you'll see sometimes those young, talented teams every once in a while, they go to the playoffs, they have that surge, and everyone's like, holy shit, this is the team of the future.
Yeah.
Can they be Sacramento and push, the Warriors to 7 games? I'm not saying the Warriors this year, but let's see. Can they push the Nuggets to the 7 games? Can they push a Phoenix or whoever else? For sure. Do I think they could beat Denver in a 7-game series? I don't know. The only thing that makes me think they could title contend is like the West is all the top teams are underachieving.
Well, the teams that you want, the teams that we traditionally want, right? So Phoenix, the Lakers, and the Warriors are all near 500 or below.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like they're playing much better than
them. You got the Nuggets and Timberwolves.
And I'm looking at the Lakers construct right now as currently put.
Well, that was the next topic. We're going to get to that too.
Well, I'll answer this quickly. Do I think they can title contend? I don't think they're winning a championship now. Do I think they could go to the playoffs and cause some problems? Absolutely. They can make a series exhausting for a team that is like Denver sees them. Like if they match up with Denver somehow, first round, Denver be like, fuck me. You know what I mean? Like, This is going to be a battle. You know what I mean? Like that's what they have. Can they beat any of those teams? Absolutely, though. I don't think they could beat Denver. They could beat a Phoenix, a Golden State, and they could beat the Lakers. I'm not saying that's automatic. Any of those teams could beat them too, just due to their youth and their inexperience.
Let's just go ahead and say it. Every matchup in the West, no one's going to be really thrilled to get any of these teams.
No, by the way, it makes it fun because the West is so wide open.
Yeah.
No one is a clear favorite as the best team other than Denver. With the exception of Denver, everybody else is in this kind of bracket. Minnesota, who we haven't mentioned, could beat anybody, as well as the Thunder. They can. Do I think they're going to win a championship? I don't. But they could beat anybody, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see.